Hello and welcome to another episode of the Music Community Podcast. We're here today with special guest Lara6683 and with co-hosts or hosts with me. I'm Doc Bizzle, by the way. We've got Dan Drumstone and Random Girl Singing. How's everybody doing today?
Hello.
I'm good.
Good morning.
Doc, you have a fantastic radio voice. It is majestic.
Oh, I'm going to blush now. It's a good thing the podcast doesn't go video forever. It's just going to be audio.
Do you guys ever remember that? Like listening to the radio when you were a kid? And I can remember going to like community things and like the DJs would be there. And I was like, this is not what you look like. Like
this is not what I thought you'd look like. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was little and I remember that happening. I don't remember where, but I just remember being like, it was like your heroes were ruined or something. But
mind blown.
If we could just all be as sexy as Dan Drumstone, we'd be set.
I got a nice filter on the camera.
Yeah, that's what it is. Lara, thank you so much again for being here today. For those who don't know you, who don't know Lara, she is in Australia. So we're like on the flip side of the planet. So Lara's staying up really late tonight. We all got started a little earlier than normal. Thank you so much for being willing to do that. How you been, lady?
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, we got a 14-hour time difference going on. So those of you who are wondering, it is now 1:45. I've got 15 more minutes of Friday here in Sydney, Australia. But I'm feeling peppy and I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
We're
it's also
to have you.
beginning to become winter there, right? So we're all getting heated up and you're starting to
We've
cool
got
down.
snow not too far away from where I am. We've got snow, which is a misconception that it never snows or gets cold in Australia. It does. It is not hot here all the time. We have seasons.
They're just opposite from us.
We only really have two seasons, a little bit hotter and a little bit colder.
Yeah, I just experienced my first actual springtime in like forever, like probably over 10 years. Like because in California, everything just stays half alive, half dead, like all year long. So to see like the leaves come out and stuff, it was really cool.
I went to Michigan and experienced fall. What is this? Like yellow and red and orange leaves? This is
gorgeous.
This is insane. Yeah.
Well, Laura, let's talk about music first with you, because we'll get into Twitch and all that stuff later. But when did you get into music? When did that start for you?
Oh boy. So I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Not really from a musical family. My mum sent my dad out to a garage sale to buy like a table or something or a fridge or some kind of thing. And he came home instead with a piano because he's like, what? It was only $50 or something. So that's how I got started. And then, dumped it in our lounge room and I just kind of started playing. I went to school like in first grade. My class teacher was like, she seems to like music, maybe get her some lessons. And so my parents did, and that's how I got started. Yeah.
That's really cool of your teacher, though. That is really cool.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I loved her. I still remember. Yeah, every single teacher. Yeah.
Now, did you show kind of an aptitude really early on for piano? Did it kind of stand out?
For piano in particular, no, probably just because that instrument was in my home and that's what I had access to. I think it was just a case of getting started at the right time. They say that starting between the ages of 4 and 6 is the best time to start. So I think, it just got me at the right time. And I don't really know. I think it was just because the opportunity was there and then my parents got me lessons. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just opportunity, what's available to you, rather than having some amazing innate talent as a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes. Tell us everything that you play, because you don't just play piano.
Okay. I picked up the violin. Well, I was very lazy with the violin. I only really had a few years of formal lessons, and I really only wanted to play violin because it was a group instrument, and I wanted to be part of a group, like an orchestra. Piano is very isolating. Then when I got to high school, I decided I didn't want to just be part of an orchestra. I wanted to be part of a band. So I picked up the trumpet and I was pretty bloody terrible at that. But nonetheless, I persisted for a good 4 or 5 years. And then a bit of singing I did as well, but I don't do it on Twitch because I'm too shy because there are too many really good singers on Twitch. So those are my instruments.
You sing?
I do sing, and if you want to stalk hard enough, I sing on my YouTube channel.
Oh, well, I might have to go down the rabbit hole one day.
You might, yeah, you'll find it.
I would love to hear you sing. That would be amazing. That should be like you should do a dono goal or some sort of achievement goal or something on Twitch so we can all hear you sing.
I don't know. I'm shy.
Do $1 million and then you'll be good. That's what my goal is.
$1 million. Yeah.
How far did you go, or how long did you continue in music education? Like, did the piano remain sort of your main instrument as far as education goes?
Absolutely. Piano was always my main. I'm sure you guys have a grade system. I did the grade system, did all the grades in high school, and then I went on to major in piano performance in my music degree. So piano was always the front runner, and everything else was kind of just dressing, just fun stuff. So yeah, it's always been piano all the way.
Now, I've read in your bio as well, Lara, that you have what's referred, is it synesthesia? Is that what it's referred to?
Yeah, like people like freak out about it, but I just think it's just whatever, because as a kid, I thought it was normal and everyone else had it. Like I just assumed everyone experienced music the same way that I did. And it wasn't until I was, 12 or something, I realized that people didn't. But yeah, it's just like it's like a really cool thing. The perfect pitch thing is linked to it, because it's not like I listen to a note and I go, oh, that's D flat. I listen to a note and I hear warm orange and then I go, therefore that note is D flat, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
It doesn't make sense. Not to me, but it sounds incredibly fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. For people who aren't familiar with it, it's fascinating. I know as a musician, because I don't have that ability either. Some people may not know at all what it is. Do you mind explaining a little bit more about the color, like what it is you're talking about?
Yeah, it's not really an ability. It's more like a kind of cross wiring of the brain. So it's an abnormality, something that's not really supposed to happen. And you can have any two senses crossed. So some people mix up, say, smell and sound or whatever, but I'm mixing up color and sound. So for me, certain notes and certain tonalities have different colors, and I hear them in colors, and the colors tell me what notes they are. So if I'm like, oh, that's in F, how do you know? Because it's like dark blue, duh. Like,
Wow.
That kind of thing. So it's just a cross wiring of neural pathways, really, that shouldn't happen, but do. I don't think it's like anything too special. I certainly don't want to play the whole, look at me, I'm a special snowflake because of this skill thing. It's not a skill. It's just a thing that's in my brain. So I don't want to.
It's a beautiful thing, though. I think it's, I had never heard of it until I read your bio, and then I was like, wait, what? And it was so interesting. It's such a beautiful, it's just a beautiful thing that our brains have the capability to work that way. I think it's cool.
It's
so
cool.
Following this journey.
Can I just say one more thing?
No, go for it.
A book called Musicophilia by Oliver Sacks, and it explains synesthesia in all of its various forms and all of its sort of various combinations. And it's really interesting seeing other people who experience it, but with two completely different senses. Sorry to interrupt, Steph.
No, that's okay. That's okay. This is your time to shine. I'm curious. So when did your love of video game music come into play, and how did you get started on YouTube? Some folks might not know that you did have kind of a stroke of luck on YouTube, and you worked very hard to build your channel there first, doing all kinds of content before you found your way to Twitch. And Twitch is just sort of the perfect place for your niche. It's a really interesting thing to get into. How did you get into it?
So how did I get into YouTube first, or video game music?
YouTube and video game music in particular. Video game music.
Basically, my parents bought home an NES. I'm dating myself here, but who bloody cares? Because can you work out what the last 4 digits of my username are? So my parents bought home a Nintendo Entertainment System, and I was just obsessed with it. So I'd play the games, and I'd, go along to the piano and try and kind of figure it out in the very limited harmonic and melodic vocabulary that I had. I was really working on chords 1, 4, and 5 in whatever key, like hadn't quite gotten to like minor 2s or minor 6s or any kind of secondary dominant. So it was very rudimentary harmonic language, but I tried to figure it out all the same. And I'd go along to my primary school assemblies, because you could do musical items in the assembly. And I'd always play some like video game ditty, like, And it was fun. The kids liked it and I liked it, and I was doing different stuff that wasn't just, fur release or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the video game stuff. And then YouTube, you guys might not know this, but I actually started a year of med school. So I was going to go into med school, finish that, and go down that path. And YouTube came about because I really started missing music while I was studying full-time doing med. So I started making these totally crap videos where literally I bought the cheapest camera that had video capabilities. I bought that and I started filming myself playing some music and uploaded it, and didn't expect anything of it. It was more like a sort of side. It was a venture for me just to get more music in my life. And then I think 1 or 2 videos got a little bit big. Well, it was big for back then. It was like the Power Ranger video, and one other video got quite big. And yeah, I just kept doing it because that was super fun. And then anyway, I quit out of med school and decided that I couldn't live without music. So I came back to music after that. So thank you, YouTube.
Man. Oh, that's so cool. That's why I love doing these things. There's so many like cool stories with streamers and that is so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When did
YouTube is
is that when it really, you kind of like really attach yourself to music as far as wanting to pursue it professionally in a sense?
Yeah, definitely. And YouTube was not a full-time income at all. I mean, you guys know how bad the ad money on there, like it's terrible. I did YouTube strictly for fun. But then I did make an album with Taylor Davis, and that was a really cool, fun thing to do. But still, I was working for the Australian Opera Company back then, and that was really fun. We would tour around a lot of kind of more rural country towns who didn't have access to opera, who didn't have the means to come and see it at the opera house. So we were like an opera outreach program, and that was really nice. I did that for quite a few years before I landed a full-time music teaching gig, like teaching between 5-year-olds and 18-year-olds. And that is the job I had before I quit that, and then decided to do Twitch full-time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Twitch. When did Twitch enter the equation? Or when did you discover it? Did someone tell you? Or
Yeah, so Kyle Landry had been telling me for 2 years, Lara, get on Twitch. And I was like, oh no, I'm very busy and important with my stupid full-time job. What are you talking about? So I ignored him for a full 2 years, and it was only in March 2017, so last year, that a friend of mine who's actually a gamer brought it up. It was just one night in a chicken shop having dinner. He brought it up, and for some reason I was quite receptive to it then. I don't know why. So I thought, okay, what do I need? I realized I needed about $700 worth of gear. So I thought, oh, okay, I can do that, I guess. I can do that, and maybe I'll never make it back, but it'll just be kind of a fun thing to try. So yeah, that's about when I started, March, April last year. And then I quit the job in May, June, and decided to make a real go of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Was that scary? Was that scary for you?
Yes, it was, but I think you have to try. I think you have to you have to take a leap sometimes. You have to try. I can always go back to teaching. I can always go back to music in some other capacity. So it's not a humongous concern. Like, I've got qualifications to do numerous jobs, so it's all good. But I decided I wanted to really give this a good go. And it was very hard. I was working 60-hour full-time weeks, plus trying to get in 3 or 4 streams in a week, because I really wanted to make partner, and you have to do 3 streams a week minimum to make partner. So that's tough around a full-time job.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad.
Yeah. How was your first couple streams? How did they go? Like, once you got in there and the chat interaction and all that, like, how did it go for you?
The first one, I was terrified because I wasn't used to the way all the software was working, and I was like, what if something goes wrong midstream and I don't know how to fix it, like some kind of weird sound or camera thing, and I don't know how to fix it. And then I was like, oh, and also, Lara, you've never really talked in front of a camera before, so good luck with that. Like, don't know how that's going to go. I think it was awkward. I had 20 people in my first stream, which I know is unheard of, and I know it's a complete luxury. Yeah. I was very lucky to have a lot of YouTube people come on over, so I never had to do a stream to 0 or 1 people. I had 20 people in my first stream.
Nice.
I think it was probably awkward as heck. And I stood there frozen. I didn't want to press the start streaming button because it was very scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all right. I channeled some Lucy Lawless and I pressed the button.
Nice.
So what is your favorite thing about Twitch?
My favorite thing is that it is not edited. See, that's the difference between Twitch and YouTube. YouTube, you really need a production team, man. You can produce amazingly, beautifully edited, both video and audio wise, perfect pieces of music. Whereas Twitch, it's you unfiltered, unedited for 3 or 4 hours or however long your stream is. So you need to have stamina and you can't go back and fix things. And if you say stupid, embarrassing things, you can't go back and fix that either. So I think that Twitch is an absolutely fantastic leveler. It creates a way more level playing field because anyone with basic camera, microphone, and computer can do it. It's a way more level playing field than YouTube is nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Homegrown.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
I was talking with some friends back home when I was back there because they didn't know what Twitch was. You know, they don't do online stuff or whatever. So we're doing some work back there, and I was trying to explain them what I'm going to do in there, and they're just like, "So you just do? Well, that sounds easy." And I'm like, "Well, it's like it's hard, you know. Like you got, like you said, 3 to 4 hours. You got to talk. You got to entertain. Like mentally." It's at the end of that, sometimes you're just like, you don't want to talk. You don't want to think. You're just like, I'm done. I performed. So
It's
getting used to that
tiring.
rhythm and all that, it's for sure tricky in the beginning.
Multitasking I found insane because I'll be learning a song and interacting with chat and checking Streamlabs and like your brain is doing 5 different things at the same time, but you have to make it look like it's just so easy. Second nature. Meanwhile, then people in chat haggling you and you're like, you have no idea. On a camera. And sometimes they get real sassy and I probably shouldn't.
Well, that's what
Sassy, you do. And I think it's great that you speak up about some of this stuff. But it's funny because talking to you, you're very calm and all this kind of stuff. But then sometimes there's a little bit of sass. And I wonder, are people really in your chat heckling you?
Oh, yes, but they get killed very quickly. I can be a little bit unexpectedly vicious. Like if I want to deliver a good burn, I will, and it's going to hurt. But most of the time, I'm very, very nice and calm. It's only when it's really deserved or I want to make an example of someone, what not to do in my channel.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was going to say. One of the things that I really admire about you, and, you know, I do think you're a very influential person in the music community because of how open you are and how vocal you are about stuff that happens. You know, if someone's complaining or treating you wrong, you don't just say like, oh, well, you know, we'll just kind of let it go. Like you're right up front with it. You put it out there. You don't let it simmer. And I think that's really cool. And I admire that. Whenever I see a tweet from you, I'm like, this is going to be good. You know, but it's all truth.
Address both like sexism kind of issues on Twitch, which of course there are a lot of, but also it's about valuing music and it's about valuing art because I think a lot of people heckle the fact that a lot of music streamers do songs for donations and all that kind of thing. And I think it's really important to implement in people's minds the idea that actually art does have value. It's not just about me, it's about every single artist on this platform and on other platforms as well. And I think that's really important. So that's why I speak up about those sort of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be very tricky for creators coming to Twitch there is this culture in Twitch where it's like, you know, at least when I started, like I found that there was this culture of like, you really shouldn't ask for money kind of a thing. I definitely felt like I sort of saw that, you know. At the same time, it's really difficult to find a way to earn off of it, you know. How can you kind of guide us through some of the different steps you went through to figuring out, you know, how do I do what I want, but then also earn?
The monetization thing. Yeah. So for the first 3 to 4 months when I was on Twitch, I monetized nothing. So I had my Nightbot open and anyone at all could just pop in a song request. It didn't even matter if it was on my song list. I would learn it live for free. because in my very limited study of microeconomics, I don't think you can charge for anything unless you have a demand for it first. So for my first 3 to 4 months, I did every single request for free, subs, non-subs, multiple, whoever it was. And then when that started getting out of hand, I was realizing, oh no, I have like 20 songs left. So I thought, okay, what'll I do? I'm not going to monetize it yet, but I'm going to raffle it. So I had a random number generator and I'd pick random numbers and I'd go, okay, number 6 entry on Nightbot, that's this song. It was still free, but there was the element of chance. That was, I think, the first 3 to 4 months because I really wanted to make it accessible and I really wanted to make sure there was demand before I even started asking for $1. The next step, I charged $5, which is laughably low considering I was learning fresh songs. Like these were not song list songs.
Yeah.
This was post any link in there and I will learn it live for you. So $5 stuck around for a little bit and then it kind of settled at 10. I only ever adjusted the price with demand. I think it's a big mistake that a lot of new streamers make straight off the bat. They charge. Now, I'm not saying that your skills are not worthwhile. They absolutely are, but you cannot charge until you have demand for it. And that's how I ran my channel. I did the first 4 months completely free. And anyone in the early days remember, oh, crap, where have we gone?
You're still here.
There we go.
You're still
Yeah,
here.
you're still
I'm
here.
still here. So that was then $5, then $10, and it settled at $10 for quite a while, and that was a comfortable amount. And $10, I'd still spend a lot of stream time learning their song. And then I decided to differentiate between songs that I knew were cheaper, they were like $5, and songs that I didn't know were like $10 because they were more effort. Then the Reddit thing and the Admiral Bulldog raid happened within a week or two of each other. The Reddit thing was crazy. One of my clips was posted to Reddit. I went to bed with 15,000 followers. I woke up with 17,000. So 2,000 overnight and another 5,000 trickled in that week.
Wow.
So that was crazy. And then Admiral Bulldog raided me with 5,000 people the week after. So my channel kind of grew a lot. And that's when I put my live learn price up to 20. And I kept the song list down at about 5 or something, because I thought that was pretty much where the demand was. So that's how I monetized. I did most of the first half of the year absolutely for free, and it was only when I was certain I had a surplus of demand I decided to monetize.
Yeah, it's kind of like real world musicianship too. I mean, when I started out, you know, you could be the best drummer or pianist in the world, but no one's going to hire you if they don't know what you can do. You know, like I did probably 5 years of, I played every gig that I could for almost nothing. And if I got paid, that was a luxury. But then you get to a point where people know what they can expect from you and that has value. So that makes total sense.
And then I do occasionally have people going, who the hell are you charging this many dollars for a song? But what they don't remember is that I have been on YouTube since 2010 doing stuff for free. So 2010 to 2017, that was all free. You could download it for free. I didn't earn $1 over that time. And then I still, for the first half year of Twitch, was pretty much doing stuff for free as well. So I think I put in the yards and only really started charging when there was call for it.
Yeah. I think it's important too, you know, for viewers to understand. And of course, somebody who comes in and complains like that, I think they're someone who probably just would make a request in order to exert a little control over somebody through the internet anyways. It's not about hearing the song, because the truth is you can still listen to all of my music for free. If you're here to listen to me perform, you can sit here and you can listen and enjoy it. And I'm glad you're here enjoying it. I'm not going to tell you donate or leave. You know, it's not that kind of thing. But if you want to make a request of me, then it's supply and demand. I love that your viewpoint on that and the way you've just explained it too, Lara, is from the perspective of economics, microeconomics. It's not about, are you good enough? Are you worth it? It's not about, are you overcharging? It really is a matter of, look, guys, I'm only going to be here for 3 hours. And so the only way, if you've got that much demand for people making requests, the only way for you to guarantee to hear what you want to hear is if you can help me out on this financial end of things, because I can't do everybody's song. I'd be here for 12 hours.
And so she can keep making content
RSI as well. You get tired.
Yeah. What was that, Steph?
I said, and so she can continue to make content. If they're enjoying it and they want her to stick around, I mean,
Yeah.
she's paying her rent with this. You know what I mean? She's paying her and she's paying her bills with this. People have different motivations for streaming, you know, and different reasons and everything. And I feel like it can be sort of hard for folks to express that without feeling like they're putting their hands out. You know, I feel like that's where folks get caught up on it.
Yeah.
I think so. I listened to a very good podcast, The Art of Asking, Amanda Palmer, and basically the takeaway is this: there are always going to be people who complain and don't want to pay. There will be people who will torrent your stuff and not pay for it. Those are not your people. You don't need to worry about them. Just let them live their life. You'll live yours. The people who matter are the ones who come to you saying, how will you let me help you? How will you let me pay for your stuff? I want to support you. How can you let me do that? So it's not even about begging, really. It's about trusting your people. And I have a great community. It's trusting your people not to leave you completely empty-handed. And it's not about exerting money by force, because I always say, please do not ever give me any money unless all of your needs are met. You are very comfortable. Have that car you want, you have the house you want, you have the ice cream you want. Don't give me a cent unless you can spare it or you found it on the street, because I'm not about begging people for money. I wouldn't want that at all. It's only people who have the means and people who want to support you, and they want to support you. So don't worry about the people who don't want to. They're not your people. It's the people who say to you, how can I support you? Please allow me to support you. They're the ones that keep everything afloat.
See, that's what I'm talking about. that was excellent. Like I think about that stuff when, you know, when people hire me as a real life musician, I know for a fact that music is hard, and not a lot of us are walking around with like bills that we're just throwing around. So when someone hires me to play for them in a band or something, I'm like, you know, that's always a weird thing, because I know they don't have money and they know, you know, so it's like this is, so like you said it perfectly, like don't give unless your needs are met. I agree with that 1,000%.
Yep. Definitely not about begging. And I'm so grateful for people who just watch my stream, you know?
Yeah.
The stream will always be free. It'll always be free. So I'm grateful for people who just watch it, have it on the background. Maybe they're coding, maybe they're doing like homework for school.
Yeah.
Well, it all adds up and it's all important. But I do also have a really strong community and a real strong, I call them my whales. I've got sort of that subsection of the community that really supports me a lot. Have you guys heard of Pareto's law? The 80% of the profits coming from 20% of the places?
No.
I view streaming as like Pareto's law on steroids. You are getting 96% of your income coming from maybe 1 to 2% of the people. So I have a core group of donators. They're the people who sub, cheer, they donate to you. Those are the ones, and they are actually, I've looked at it, I've crunched the numbers. Over 95% of my stream income comes from this tiny, tiny subsection of my audience. So you know what? They're the ones I cater to, and it makes sense. And I'm so grateful for them, because they're the ones who keep the entire stream afloat. It's very interesting when you crunch the numbers and see how it works.
Yeah, that's some really incredible patronage. Do you do anything outside of Twitch to promote your music, or to earn off of music, or use other social media sites regularly at all?
I still upload about 3 times per week to YouTube, usually just like Twitch highlights and stuff like that, but it keeps it ticking over. I'm on Twitter. I don't have an Insta because someone stole my handle and has an empty account. Anyway, we won't go into that. But I don't have an Insta yet. Yeah, but basically...
Sorry.
I'm trying to funnel absolutely everything into Twitch, so that with my subs, I have actually locked down all messaging on any other platform, so that no one can private message me apart from my Twitch subs. So they really are my inner circle, and I want to make sure it's exclusive what I'm offering them. So Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you can't message me there. Supporting me on Twitch is the only way, and you can DM me night and day if you want there. So I'm really trying to funnel everything back into Twitch.
Nice. That's awesome. So a quick question. What was the first music stream you saw on Twitch? Do you remember?
Yes. So I was at my teaching job and I spent the whole of February and most of March stalking.
Yeah, lurk mode.
I was up like 9 to 5 and I was stalking and I was watching people and I was seeing what worked and their chat interactions and if they were monetizing and what their content was. And I watched a lot of pianists because I was like, who else is on here that I'm going to be doing a similar thing to? So I watched a bit of Piano Impro Man, but mostly I couldn't because of his times. He always streamed when I was asleep. I watched a bit of Kyle. I watched a bit of Chewy Melodies. Chewy streamed at a great time for me work-wise, so I often caught his stream. Yeah. I watched a bit of Megan Lenius. Now, she started 2 weeks before me, and she also streamed at a good time, and I stalked her quite a lot, and I thought she was fantastic what she was doing with the loop pedal because no one else was doing it. Yeah, I watched Fern. I did my research, man, all on work time too. It worked out very well for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I stalked everyone.
So after the first couple streams, like, when did you kind of realize that Twitch was like something that you got really excited about? What, did it take a while or was it like an instant thing or did you fall in love with it pretty quick? I think
2 or 3 months in, I realized, hey, this could be something and I really want to try and make this something because I realized it was the perfect platform for me because I don't like editing stuff. I think I'm okay chatting in front of a camera. I like the live aspect. I love playing off chat and going, chat, what do you want? Like the medleys that I do, those are really fun where I try and play all the songs that chat is requesting of me. It was the perfect platform for me and it was really fun. And how I could tell I was actually having fun, 3 or 4 hours felt like it passed in 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, I'm actually really, really, really enjoying this. I want to try this. So 2 or 3 months, really.
No, you've done some crazy thing. You have worked so hard to grow your channel and make sure that you're reaching as many people across the globe as you can because you are in such, I mean, it's just unfortunate. You know, it really is. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about that dedication. Tell us about your schedule.
Sure. So I realized that basically the top 1 to 2% of my YouTube fans had followed me over onto Twitch. And I looked at my demographics there and it was very split between like Australasia, EU, North America. So I thought, okay, I really want to cater to everyone here. So I had to try and stream across as many time zones as I could, which is unfortunate living in Australia. And I have completely destroyed my sleeping pattern, but that's okay. So I have always tried to split it quite evenly between North America streams and EU streams. So how it works out is my daytime is a comfortable prime time North America. My late evening, like now, is quite good for EU. So I tried to do an even split of those kind of stream times. And now I stream at 4 different times per week. And I know that some people advise against that. They say, no, it's much better if you stream at 4 p.m. every day so that people know where to find you. And I said, yeah, but you're leaving half your audience out, which you may not be doing if you have established a North American audience. But because I already had a global audience from YouTube, again, I'm very lucky that I got my first 1,000 followers very easily from YouTube. And they were here to support me, then I wanted to try my best for them and try and stream across all time zones for them. So that's what I do.
How's it working out?
It's fine, actually. It's really fine. I do 4 streams a week. I don't ever miss one unless it's over, like, what's the Fahrenheit conversion? If it's over like 120 Fahrenheit, then I won't do it. Or if I'm like super sick, then I won't do it. But otherwise, I stick the schedule. And yeah, it's pretty good. It works out because I don't want to go like, oh, EU, oh, no, screw you. We're doing all North America streams. That would suck. And it's a really horrible way to like kick people in the butt after they've actually supported you for so long. So,
take that, France.
Yeah, take that, Germany.
So what else? You've had to probably sacrifice other things to make this work in your life. What kind of sacrifices have you made?
Oh, my most regrettable one is roller derby. Now, I loved that. And while I had a salaried position, I could afford to break my finger if that ever happened because then I just take time off work and it would be paid however long a bone takes to heal. But now I'm working for myself and I break anything or injure anything, I can't have 6 weeks off stream unpaid. And if I break a finger, that's game over for a certain amount of time. And, you can't just not have income for that much time. So that's been the saddest one. But actually I am much happier now because the job, I liked the job. I like teaching, but 60 hours a week is too much. And there was a lot of the commute as well. And this is just so much fun because I get to play the sort of music that I want to play. So this is much better. I'm very happy to make the sacrifices. I'm happy to go to bed at 5 or get up at 5, whatever is needed. It's like that article. It's like, what are you prepared to suffer for? Because you're never going to have a suffering-free life. It's like, what are you prepared to work for? And I'm prepared to work for this.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Now, have you written any music, Lara?
I don't ever write things down. I don't like the finality of writing things down. I go on crazy mad improv sessions just for myself. But I don't do that online because I'm not sure if it will get as much traction if people are interested in that. So I've always been a bit hesitant with the originals. Yeah, so not yet officially.
I bet if you either opened or closed every stream with just a 5 or 10 minute Lara improv, I bet they'd eat it up. Like, let us hear what's in you.
They might, yeah. Yeah, that could be a good idea.
I'd listen.
Nothing official, nothing formal yet.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all the birds in chat. Look at all my beautiful birds. Look at my beautiful.
Yeah, the whales were in there earlier when you brought up the whales.
I'm wondering if anybody in the chat, I haven't seen any questions. I wonder if anybody has anything they've been wondering about you all this time, but just didn't want to ask you while you're playing piano.
Oh, they're super polite. I've trained them well, so they'll only ask questions once you say it's okay to.
All right, chat.
Well,
you got questions?
Yeah, come on, chat. If you got anything, and at some point we really ought to talk about some Twitch features and Twitch news and talk about what's going on Twitch as well.
Yeah. Some stuff's gone down and that I need to know about because I haven't been here. The low latency thing, Doc, I know you wanted to talk about, which I'm curious about it too. I just found out about it yesterday.
Yeah, so I guess it's been in beta now for maybe just 4 or 5 days. It hasn't been very long. At least I didn't get a notification until 4 or 5 days ago. I think I've done 1 or 2 streams in low latency. But Twitch is sort of testing out this low latency option for broadcasters. And so I was curious what the response has been for some of the viewers. For me as a broadcaster, I love it because I feel like I'm having real-time interaction with chat. But the sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? The negative possibility is that you could have a lot of buffering. So chat, in addition to submitting questions for Lara, also let us know what your experience has been. If you've been in a channel that had low latency enabled, I'd love to know what your experience has been.
There have been concerns that I've seen folks commenting about. However, I cannot comment about that the trade-off for using low latency is more frequent buffering is the particular concern. So I'm not sure if that's
so
really an issue. And
what buffers, the stream or just the chat?
The stream will pause and buffer.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what some folks are saying for folks who don't have the best Wi-Fi or connection or whatnot.
For the viewer. And it even says that in the beta, if as a broadcaster, when it gives you the option, it'll say, keep the regular latency if high quality, high resolution is your priority, or select low latency if having quicker interaction with chat is your priority. Like they're letting you know you're picking one over the other as the priority.
Yeah.
But I run my streams at 720, 30 frames a second. So I'm not running 1080 or 60 frames a second. And I haven't had too many complaints from folks. And I don't think the quality has suffered. When I've watched the VODs anyway, the VODs everything seems good and clear. So
it is interesting to see the response in chat. One person says, it was still 6 seconds latency. Some folks are saying I'd prefer latency over buffering. Some folks are saying, yeah, I have seen complaints. It's interesting because my husband did a little check. You know, you can go to your advanced options when you're in Twitch and see what the latency is. He tested the latency on King Gathalian's channel, who has been running it in the beta. In Google Chrome, the low latency, which is supposed to be 1 to 2 seconds, was 2 seconds. In Microsoft Edge, it was 6 seconds. Mm-hmm. And in Opera, it was 9 seconds. And then for a channel that was just regular latency, he said still in Chrome was still like 6 seconds or something for just regular latency.
Oh, okay.
So it is a matter of a handful of seconds. But if you have a lot of people asking you questions and you forget what you were talking about at the moment, I could see why it's extremely helpful to have it.
Yeah.
But folks are saying that they would prefer latency over buffering. That's what I'm seeing a lot in the chat.
I would say latency, the less latency, the better. Because it's kind of like, do you ever watch news shows or, you know, they're interviewing someone in like Antarctica, you know, the newscaster's like, so how's the weather there? And then the guy's like, oh, it's great. And you're like, come on, satellites. You know, I kind of get that feeling sometimes with stream. Not that it's, you know, you get a rhythm when you're streaming, right? You're like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? And then when you do kind of address chat, sometimes there's that like, and then stuff kind of like when we asked about questions, you know, we already started talking about latency and then the questions start coming in, you know, it's like, there's this, is it, okay, so this is just a question. So that 2 seconds, is that for what you chat going out and then coming back? Is that kind of what we're gauging on? Or is it like 2 seconds both ways, do you think?
Well, they still need to type and respond.
Yeah.
So I think it would be 2 seconds from when you broadcast your video to when they view it.
Yeah. Because sometimes the latency feels way longer than that. Yeah. Like let's say, you know, Lara, I don't know, do you notice anything? Because you stream to more, you know, further people in different continents. Like what do you feel about it?
I am just so used to it for now. I'm used to asking a question and then playing some like awkward waiting music and then waiting like for the end.
Or you just forget that you asked it and then somebody answers it and you're like, what are you talking about?
I've done this so many times.
I do that all the time and then I feel stupid. A couple comments I just want to point out about this. Jean B popped in and he said that taken from the FAQ, it says that Twitch said, we initially will only support viewers of an opted-in broadcaster on Chrome desktop. So yeah, it appears that at the moment it is really just for Chrome. And also another person in the chat says that when they were interviewing at Twitch, Twitch has a target of 8 seconds streamer to viewer, which includes a 4-second buffer, is what they're saying. So,
Gotcha. Yeah. I know for me with regular latency, before I opted in, it was a lot of times it was like 20 seconds, 22 seconds with many of my viewers before they would actually hear me say what I said. Like we see chat in real time, that comes through instantly. But I would ask a question, or God forbid, I'm a goofball. I joke a lot. And so when I'm making silly remarks and stuff, and then it's like, you know, chat doesn't respond at all. And 20 seconds later, I see a few LOLs and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they thought that.
Wow, that just got to you?
Yeah.
Or maybe everyone's just really slow to get the joke, Doc. That's what I think.
Yeah, they're just really slow. I've seen a lot of streamers do like tests and they'll be like, okay, type a kappa in the chat or whatever. Or they'll just like give them a quick little prompt and then they'll see it all come and they're like, oh, okay, that's not that bad. So that's kind of an interesting way to kind of gauge it too.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be a little shaky for a little bit, but low latency, the less we can have, I think is the best. So I'm excited to see what comes of it over the next couple months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, did you hear that Trevor, 88-Bit Music, is now in the final stretch, final week of Stream On? He
did.
Top 3. He was actually the winner this last week of the challenge.
Yep.
And so he's pushing into this week, like this guy's home stretch. Music community. If music is important to you on Twitch, not just your favorite music streamer, but as a whole, as a platform and a community, get in there, figure out what you can do to support at some point. Not saying pull away from your favorite streamers, but do what you can to support Trevor. It would be huge for him, but it would be also very huge, I think, for the music community, for us to be able to show up and show Twitch and the rest of the Twitch community how awesome you all are.
Yeah. So the last stream on thing will be Thursday at 3 o'clock. It is, I believe, right? Pacific time.
I think so.
So that's the last challenge. They're not going to bring it down to a final 2?
I don't
Is it
think
just-
so.
No,
I think maybe they'll. I don't know this for sure, but I think they may do like a winner and a runner-up, or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, his challenge this week is to impress the judges. I think that is I think that's something he's totally capable of. He already has.
Mm-hmm.
And
challenge, is that it?
It just says impress the judges.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've been really specific on challenges up to this point, but the challenge is pretty vague. His prize or his advantage that he got for placing first in this past challenge was that he gets 2 hours of front page time. So I think he is going to do something very special to make the most of that. And I am just really, really stoked to see what it is.
That's so cool.
Yeah, he's doing an amazing job so far. Even like the charity stuff, like the St. Jude stuff that he's been done. Like, I love stuff like that. Like, it's like it pulls on my heartstrings. But we all know Trevor. He's a great guy and a huge part of this community. So yeah, like Doc said, if anything you guys can do, whether it be just tweet about it, tell people. If you are a streamer, bring it up in your chats every now and then, during your streams, and we'll get behind him. He's our boy right now.
John B just asked, it's a good segue question as well. He said, I don't know if this was asked, but I know Lara was on a talent show as well. What is her take? What's your take on talent shows?
My take is that they are harmless fun. That I was on the Raj Patel talent show, and that was the one I had to get up early for because Australia. Everybody knows the judges are not qualified to be making comments on musicians. Like, you go in with a massive grain of salt. Like, you go in with the entire container of salt. You know this. I was waiting for them to roast me. They never did. I was disappointed. It's literally just a bit of fun. I do not place any stakes in them whatsoever. I know a lot of people like to assign some kind of moral quality to, it's bad if you go on a talent show, you're a sellout, and that must be inherently bad. But it could just be that it's a bit of fun, it's a bit of exposure, and as long as you're quite thick-skinned, who cares? I had a good time. Yeah. It was great.
I think it's difficult for people just because the chat is so huge, and it's Twitch chat. It is Twitch chat, you guys. It is no moderation Twitch chat.
Well, it's not music community chat either. It's
not music
full on Twitch chat.
Low moderation chat. I mean, Raj grew his community out of a lot of variety content, doing like role play kind of stuff on Grand Theft Auto and a lot of other stuff like that. So, they are just funny people who like entertainment and like on the fly, like comedic improv stuff. So you have to keep in mind the context, I think, if you're going to do that particular talent show. It is kind of memey. What was hard for me was just when I see these creators that I love and that are doing amazing things, put their heart and soul into stuff, and then I see them just get totally trashed in the chat. It was just hard for me to see because I love these people. And at the same time, you just sort of have to let go. And
yeah. I don't know. I think I'm with you kind of stuff. Like, what was it? That Violin Chick and Tammy. I watched one. It was right before I left, and I was like, no, those are my people. Like you get
that.
Defensive. It's like I see all of you guys as like brothers and sisters, and I was totally that protective brother of my little sister growing up. So if anyone said anything, I was like, So I get what Laura's saying. Like it is just for fun and it is good exposure. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't like to hear bad things said about my friends. Also.
Yeah. Disrespectful to the musician.
Had a massive smirk on her face the whole time. Like, she was trolling them back. And Tammy, like, I think they can take it. They were good natured.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy said something mean to Tammy and she was just smiling. She's like, thank you for your feedback. And she didn't. playing, whatever. She didn't care. And that violin chick, she was smirking the whole time.
It's a shame that they didn't say anything to you, Laura. I would love to hear some responses from you.
I was so ready to roast and I never even got my chance.
Oh, man. That was never scratched. Yeah, and Raquel Lilly sassed right back with an original song of hers that is just hilarious. That's a hilarious awesome. Burn song. That was pretty fantastic.
That was good. But no, they were super nice. The chat wasn't actually that noxious. I just wish that they post walls of the same thing. It's very repetitive. I wish the mods had something in there which didn't allow for so much repetition, because it's all just completely inane stuff.
Yeah. So I think I would take Lara's experience from it and her insight as advice to any of you music streamers who are out there who may be getting invited to participate. And it seems like there's a lot of invitations going out to the music community. Take that as some advice, that if you have the right perspective and you view it as something that's just sort of for fun, a few laughs, like go into it that way, not thinking this is my big break, I'm going to win this thing and then I'm going to be a superstar now. Don't go into it with your ego exposed at all. Otherwise, it's probably going to hurt. Yeah, would that be fair to say, Lara? If you just view it as something to enjoy, just go do it. But
something
otherwise,
fun. Make sure you've got a bit of a thick skin, and also the judges are not musicians. You know this. Take it with a grain of salt. It's a life experience. That's all.
Yeah, and they're probably mucking it up anyway to make it more interesting for the viewers. You know what I mean? It's not interesting if they're like, "Oh, that was awesome," and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there has to be that dynamic and that dissonance there for it to be interesting to the audience.
Yeah, they do good cop, bad cop. Like, I've forgotten his name, that big muscly guy. Like, he's obviously the bad cop, and that's just the persona that he is supposed to play. So just go along with it.
Yeah. Any other big news? Seth Drums TV. We wanted to give a congratulations. I want to make this a thing because I know a lot of people are going for partner. They've unlocked stuff. They're getting close. Anytime something like this happens on the show, I want to make a big deal about it because like it's a huge deal. So Seth got partnered. What was it, like a week ago? I'm out of the loop with dates, but
week and a half ago.
Yeah. If you guys haven't congratulated Seth yet, just go over on his Twitter, hop in his chat, just say congratulations because he worked really hard and he's an amazing person. He's actually going to be on the podcast in a few weeks, so we're very excited about that. But yeah, so big congratulations to him and Steph. Some people have applied and gotten some feedback if they haven't got accepted as a partner yet. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I've sort of just been kind of a bird's eye view and just from talking to my friends. And really quickly, I'm not sure if we ever took note that Jean B got partnered, within this past month, I think, too.
He's in chat.
Yeah, he's in chat. So, congrats, John. He's been working really hard.
Yes.
But I have been noticing it is very, very typical lately for folks to reach that milestone, to unlock the application, to put their application in, and then to get sort of a form letter rejection like that first time, which I worries me a little bit going into the summer slump, and that because it is normal for viewers to sort of drop off, to drop down a little bit during the summer when people aren't in school and when people
they go to Disney. Disneyland.
Yeah, going to Disney, going on holiday. So it's more important than ever for us to make sure that we're supporting each other and sending viewers to each other right now as these folks are needing to prove that they can consistently grow, because most of these letters are like, try back in a few weeks. We just want to verify. However, I know that one of my friends that recently got her letter back, they had some helpful advice about looking into your stats and taking a look at your what percentage of viewers are coming from hosts, and doing a little bit of math on what your average viewership is, and then subtracting that percentage. So for instance, if it says that you're getting average viewership in the 80s, but then you go and look and see what percentage is from hosts and it's like 25%, that really means that you're in like the 60s. Mm-hmm. So they really want you to be kind of looking at that. That is one more thing that you're going to want to take a look at. but maybe before you put that application in, they want to make sure that you can retain those viewers and keep growing the community even after those hosts, just like they always have.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a bummer that's the case, specifically within the music community. And that was part of my response to Twitch when I got my original decline. I got denied. That was the reason. They said, well, we see that you've had a lot of hosts. And I responded and said, the music community is a lot smaller and tightly knit than the overall 2.5 million broadcasters on Twitch. And it's very, very normal that we're all hosting each other when we're not live. Like you're seeing, the majority of all those hosts that you saw were auto hosts.
Mm-hmm.
That is normal. That is every single time I stream, you're going to see probably 20% of my viewers got there through somebody's host, but they are an actual follower. They are an actual viewer. It's just that they're going from music streamer to music streamer to music streamer. And I happen to be in the circle of 15 music streamers or 20 music streamers that's live at a particular time. So it's a bit of a bummer. Like I could see them saying, well, we don't want 80% of your views to be from hosts or some astronomically huge number. But if there's 20 to 25% of your views, it's always coming from a host or auto host. Gosh, that is normal for music.
Yeah.
That's just my
I think it's silly because hosts and raids are how you actually organically grow. So how the heck why are they not counting that then? I think it's really silly. You can't organically grow from nothing. You organically grow from people helping you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And just the fact that people like you enough to help you, that should count.
Yeah.
That's
now,
a good point.
I do understand, if you're averaging in the 40s for a 30-day period, you're averaging in the 40s and you get one raid for 800, right?
Yeah.
And then you're back in the 40s. Well, during that 30-day period, the 800 is going to make all the 40s. Your average is going to come well above 75. It's like that one big thing skewed the numbers for that one stream. I could see them saying, let's wait 3 weeks. Let's keep building on what you've got. And let's make sure you're going to, have that higher average. So I can see where that one big spike would cause an issue. But if it's just the regular day to day, like you're saying, Lara, I agree. That's part of growing.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's mean to reject people based on 15% of your views are hosts. That's ridiculous.
Well, Lara, is there any other kind of advice that you would have or for people starting out or even streamers who have been doing it for a little while? Anything that you've learned since you've started?
Oh, sure. Let's see. Lots of things. I was watching Tomination Time's stream the other day, and he did a really great presentation on how to grow on Twitch, and it basically solidified a lot of the things that I'd been thinking and that I thought about before I started Twitch. He said 3 main categories. So skill, top tier skill is what he called it, some kind of charisma or connection with the audience, and niche. And I think the more of those 3 things you can tick off, the more of those 3 things you have, the more successful you'll be. So niche, of course, doing something that other people are not doing, because I think Twitch is very oversaturated at this point, not so much for music, but it is even getting that way for musicians. There are a lot of people singing and playing guitar or whatever, lots of pianists, lots of drummers even. It's getting saturated. So when I started Twitch, I thought, okay, you've really got to bring the skills, Lara, because if you've got, why would I watch the second best person if I can watch the best person, So I'm like, okay, you got to bring the skills. Charisma, I had no idea how I was going to go there. That's just whatever happens there when you talk. And then niche, I thought, okay, niche, I can do this. I've noticed a lot of people are playing off a song list or whatever. So maybe I'll be different and not have a song list and say people can request whatever. And then I sort of established a bit of a 80s and 90s video game niche for myself as well. So I think the more of those 3 boxes you tick, the better off you will be. And just in terms of advice, I think the way I did it was don't monetize until you have demand for it, but each to his own, because I do think that music definitely has value. I don't know. I see a lot of advice floating around Twitter these days, and it's all very well to do. It's all like, oh, don't stream full time or don't make streaming your career. And you know what? In 99% of cases, that's good advice. But advice that people give you, my advice right now, is tinged with bias and some kind of agenda. So don't listen to it and just do you, because you know what? If you want to try and stream full time as a career, maybe you're the 1% that it'll work for. I just don't want people to kill other people's hopes and dreams, because I think that a lot of things definitely are still possible. Go with your gut. It is still possible. You just got to think through some things first and go, can I do this? And if you think yes, then go for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm out. I don't have any of those boxes.
Shut up, man. You're awesome, man. I've also, I've seen a string of tweets go out where people are larger streamers, like established streamers, are slamming people for getting involved in a group that's like support smaller streamers or a retweet group or whatever for when you go live. They're slamming that. And I think that's ridiculous to say from a high level, because one of the biggest things we all need in order to succeed, even if you've got charisma, high skill, niche, and consistency, you've got to get discovered somehow. People have to know you're there. And when you're first getting started, that's difficult to do when you're buried at the bottom of a list of a bunch of other streamers. It is a snowball effect on Twitch. The rich get richer. What I mean by that is the more you have, the more exposure you get, which means the more you're going to get, right? It just happens that way. We don't have to hate that. We got to work with that. And we got to understand, you know what? When I'm just getting started, screw partnership. I want to get as many hosts as I can, as many auto hosts as I can. I'm not going to go beg for raids, but if I can be a part of a support smaller streamers group where 50 people are going to retweet when I go live, you know what? Every one extra person here and there is going to help me get discovered, which is going to help me go up the ladder a little bit, which then my niche, my skill, my charisma, all of that can be discovered. And if you're good enough and people discover you, they're going to hang around.
Yeah.
Now, at that point, if they don't get mad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll need to work on your charisma. Maybe you need to work on quality, whatever. There may be some things you can learn in the process, but I just want to go on record and say, don't slam the support smaller streamers movements and effort. I think it's a valiant effort to get discovered.
Don't slam anybody's approach, right?
A lot of stuff going around Twitter is not great at the moment. I do want to say that I think it's super important. No one gets anywhere alone. Even the biggest streamers, do you know how much help they've had? I have had so much help. Anyone who has ever hosted or rated me, anyone who has ever retweeted me, said a nice thing, shared a video, literally anything. I have had so much help, and I don't think anyone can say I've got here to where I am by myself. No one can say that. I'm aware of that I've only done so well because of my community. And I think it's important. I like when I'm rating and hosting, I like to pay it forward or pay it back, as it were. I usually host much smaller music streamers to give them a bit of a push, because you know what? People did that for me in the start. So I recognize that people did that for me in the start. It's my turn to sort of pay it back, because on Twitch, like you said, you could have all those three things and you've got to have them to get anywhere, but you also need help, just a little bit of a leg up at the start. So I think big streamers getting on their sanctimonious high horses, I think that's really unhelpful, because they're forgetting where they came from. And I don't think you should ever forget where you came from, who helped you, and you can never take full credit for it. I will never, ever take full credit for where I am now, because it wasn't me. It was my community.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me.
And
Preach it, girl.
Yeah. I wanted to shout out, not anyone in specific, but there's a few streamers that started, over the last couple months, and we've all seen it, people start streaming and it's hard and then they stop. But to the people that are still streaming consistently right now, that maybe you started a month ago, 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, good job. There's a bunch of you, that just kind of came into the community, and you're active and you're working hard and you're consistent. So just keep it up. Keep it up. That's all I got to say. Because I really like to see, when I check who I'm following, who's online, those smaller ones that are still doing it daily and plugging at it, just keep doing that.
I like to say stay on the bus, because you never know. You need one winning ticket. You never know when it's going to be. So if you're not even in the draw, you're not going to win. Stay on the bus, consistency. Even if you're plugging away for weeks at a time and you're like, I'm getting nowhere, I'm not getting any hosts, I'm not making any traction at all. Stay on the freaking bus if you want a ticket in the lotto, you know?
Yeah. And you're getting experience too. Like,
yeah.
And you're always getting better and you're always growing and learning. I really do want to drive home the fact that if folks see their numbers dipping, starting now, going through the summer, is not just you. Your content didn't suddenly get crappy. Your people didn't just leave you. Nobody just found somebody they like better and they're never going to come back. I've seen my numbers drop dramatically over the summer, like dramatically. People are just out of school. People are on holiday. There is a cycle of Twitch, and I've confirmed it with streamers that have been doing this for like 5 years. They say, hey, December is always the biggest month for me, and the summer is always dead. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth, but just please don't get discouraged if you see that. Please don't.
That's happened to me a little bit, but I'll also say that time of day really matters. Like my NA primetime streams are a lot smaller compared to my sort of EU mid-afternoon streams. Sometimes by a factor of 3, like I can have 300 or 400 concurrents in an NA primetime stream, and I can have like 800 unrated in the EU, like late night Sydney time stream. So time of day fluctuations are massive. And yeah, time of year fluctuations as well. It doesn't mean that people hate you. It means they have lives and they're going outside, which is wonderful. Go outside more.
Yeah,
It's
go
good
visit
for
your
you.
grandmas.
They'll be back at the end of August. You'll see. All of a sudden, you'll be like, wow, this is fantastic. The other thing I would say is
Prosper,
don't get too caught up on the niche thing.
Yeah.
You are a niche. You know, like, yeah, it's great to have a niche, but like, until you figure out what that sweet spot is that sets you apart from people, stay on the bus, like Lara said, and just keep tweaking it and figuring out what it is that you do really well, and just show up and be yourself, because nobody is you. And that is sometimes just being you is a niche for a little bit until you figure out what is it that I kind of just am doing that's setting me apart, and I need to play to that strength.
That's great. I want to say too about your account, not to keep jumping back and forth, but there's also right now a huge influx of new music streamers. So if you're a music streamer, okay, and you're new, you hopefully you're going to be seeing your numbers come up through the summer because people are discovering you and you're new. It's like when a new restaurant comes in town, right? it's going to be packed for a little while, and that's a good thing. That's not a complaint from me, but there are a lot of new music streamers coming in. And there's not yet a whole lot of outside promotion to get people to come to Twitch to listen to music. So we're kind of sharing an audience. So that's going to level and dip in some other channels. Maybe you've been around already for 6 months or a year. You may see yours come down a little bit. And some of it is summer, like Stephanie just said. Some of it is we're all discovering new people and we're spreading out a little bit. That will bring things back up again. It'll ebb and flow, I think, in general. But that brings about a point that I really want to try to spearhead. If not spearhead, I want to be involved. Maybe somebody else out there would be better at it than me. So I just want to be involved and support it. We've got to start promoting the fact that there is an incredible music scene on Twitch, outside of Twitch. Like it's great that there's millions of viewers that we should be able to pull from gaming and stuff that are already familiar with the platform. I think we need to do our work together as a community, or we should, to start promoting outside of Twitch. You know, figure out ways, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or in real life, to start promoting and letting people know there's an incredible live music scene, live music, live performance where you can interact with the performer on twitch.tv/music. You can give them that link and it takes them right to the category. So I'd love to see us be able to figure that out.
Very helpful when musicians who have a big YouTube following come over to Twitch, because I think then their following is like, oh, this is a thing. Twitch music is a thing. So I always rejoice when like Slightly Musical, Albert came over onto Twitch, massive YouTube following. I'm like, yes. More visibility for the whole of music.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, like you, Lara, and Maluka, Bina, Bianca. I can think of a lot of folks who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube came straight over, and it's like, oh, there's a couple hundred people right there, and
it all helps, right?
yeah. And they love it. And I've noticed these YouTube viewers are like, holy cow, I've loved you for so long. Now I get to talk to you
Yeah.
and see you, how you really are, like unedited. This is you.
The YouTube people that come over, they're the best. They're the cream of the crop. Like they're the best 1% of your YouTube subs that are going to come over. Only the good ones will follow you over and make a Twitch account just for you. So they are like super quality. Like you want them in your streams. So
Yeah.
it's more YouTube cross platform.
And one last thing, this whole month of May, Saving Music Live is doing their second kind of big charity event. We did one in December that went really well. We raised over $25,000 because I just logged in to open up the donate, but it's a new window now, so we got like a separate thing. And I looked, and it was over $25,000, which is insane to help, kids get some musical instruments that can't, Mr. Holmes' Opus. So we got a new campaign. Right now, the total is at $2,320 that we've raised so far. And we had a first week, right? It's Mondays.
It's on Mondays.
One day,
Yeah.
that was this past month.
Yeah. So this whole month of May on Monday, log in. There's some great people on the schedule. I peeked. It's amazing. So thank you to everyone who's donated so far, but please don't forget about that and please host it, spread the word about it because it's a great cause and there's some great people putting their time into it, streaming and even behind the scenes stuff. So go support, go follow twitch.tv/savingmusiclive, and it'll be going on all month on Mondays.
Yes.
So yeah.
Sounds good.
So Laura, I know it's late for you, but thank you so much for being here.
No worries.
It's such a pleasure and a treat for everyone.
It's only 1 o'clock. It's not too bad for me. It's not too bad at all.
I feel like I'm kind of awake now.
I'm awake now as well. Like, were there any questions? I can't remember.
Yes.
Chat had
Somebody did ask something a while back. Somebody asked you how your front page time impacted your channel.
Oh yeah, I had some front pages in March. Now that was interesting because it was late night Sydney time. It was kind of an EU afternoon, and it was not a time when Americans were awake at all. So it was kind of like an odd time. But hey, you get given some front page, you take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually super helpful because that was huge growth. I think that was about 1,500 follows per stream. Which is huge. So that all just helps like gradually just increase concurrence. And it did increase concurrence until we hit like mid-May where we are now, where I'm starting to see just a little bit of the summer slump. But since I know what that is, I'm not too worried about it really, because this is just a thing that happens every year. So I think front page is hugely helpful. I've noticed that when gamers raid music streamers, because a lot of your front page people are gamers, they're used to viewing gaming channels. I've noticed they're incredibly receptive to music, and I don't know if you guys have noticed that when you get raids from gamers and stuff. They generally love music. You get a lot of follows, you get a lot of interaction. It's just the fact that we're not discoverable. It's not that nobody likes us. It's that we're not discoverable. So it's really heartening to see a lot of gamers actually enjoy your content and get amongst it and stuff. It's just the discoverability thing that I wish was better.
Yeah, we're like ice cream. There's not many people that don't like ice cream.
Mud wanted to know which musicians are you most excited to maybe collaborate with down the road? Who would you like to work with?
Oh, okay. So I have worked with Jason Yang, and I loved that when I was in TwitchCon last year. An incredible person and musician and performer, and that was just wonderful because I don't often get to work with like violinists of that quality, so that was amazing. Yep. I really want to collab with Christy Cates as well. I love her stream. There's just something that leaves me really nostalgic when I watch her stream because she does a lot of 90s stuff. She's got a very unique vocal quality as well. So I really want to like try and get her also. I'd love to catch Chewy Melodies, and unfortunately we didn't run into each other last TwitchCon. I would have at least just loved to meet him and say hi. So this is starting to sound a little bit like Pokemon now, and that's not how it is intended. But yeah, quite a few people that I just like to sit down with, pick their brains, and maybe even like have a jam together.
This brings up a good point. Like the collaboration thing. Like the first time I saw you, Lara, you were playing with Jonathan Ong. You had him over, and I was like, "What? Who are these guys? This is crazy." But like you mentioned Jason a few weeks ago when I was packing up the old house, he did like collabs with a bunch of people, and from a musical standpoint, I was distracted. I got like no work done because I just watched the whole time. And then he did a stream where he watched the collab streams. Sorry. And he was analyzing his playing, and he's like, okay, I rushed that there. I'm like, this I love this, like that kind of stuff, that musical thing. And Steph, you're going to collaborate with Christy like you did last night.
Well,
you're
we
going to do it again?
did last night. I'm dying this morning.
So these live streams where people get together and they make that effort, it's a lot goes into it. It's not just like, oh, just come over and play. There's it's a whole new setup, and it's something. So I love collaborations and stuff like that. So to the people that have done it in the past or thinking about it, thank you, and please more, because they're so good for just the audience, the viewers who know these different people, but to see them together and what happens, it's so cool.
Yeah,
Before
Dan,
we go,
you make a great point. They are a ton of effort and a setup. Like people think we just waltz in and press start. It is not the case. No. Sadly, it is. There are always a ton of sound things to figure out, but it is always worth it. I'm lucky to have Jonathan just down the road from me. I'd love to get a trio of Aussies, get me, Mary, and Jonathan together and do a local collab stream there.
Yeah.
I would love to watch that because I love all of you guys. I think, is it okay if I bring up Mixer very briefly? I just wanted to point out, because we were talking about discoverability, that Mixer, if folks are starting to stream on Twitch and maybe you don't think it's the right community for you, or you're interested in trying a different live streaming platform, I'm interested in what Mixer's doing lately because their guidelines are very clear. They offer ratings for your stream. You can rate your stream G, PG, etc. And they're very, very clear about that stuff. They've also done more to bolster their music section in further splitting it into subcategories like production, live performance, making music or whatever, which I think is really cool. And at the moment, because Mixer is still kind of a smaller growing platform, music is almost always number 3 or number 4 category featured when you go to Mixer. So, and when you click on it, that's mostly just like the Monster Cat and the producer streams and the DJ streams, sort of like how I'm thinking back to 2 years ago on Twitch.
Yeah.
And a lot of us grew really quickly on Twitch being in that music category because you know what I mean? Like Doc pointed out the other day, he's like, you would only need 3 viewers right now there to be like the third person in the directory there. Yeah. There's very few people performing there, and it's sort of an open market for pioneering. And I just wanted to just note that if people want to experiment, you know what I mean? Like the live streaming music community doesn't have to be restricted to Twitch music.
Yeah. Like we're a music community, Twitch, it just happens to be the place where a lot of us are, and it has treated us good, but there's nothing wrong with trying a different platform that, like, you got to look out for you. And if you try it out, if it fits, if the community's good over there, that's awesome. Facebook also does live streaming. Like they're really pushing that, it's good competition from other companies. And if Twitch isn't, if Twitch isn't just, you don't want one thing to rule them all. We've all watched Lord of the Rings. That's bad.
Because then what's the motivation to improve?
Yeah.
And you need that competition.
Here's the thing about what the low latency thing is. Mixer offered that in the beginning. Like that's one of their things. And it's cool because I think we have that now because people were like, hey, over here, I can just talk instantly to this person and it's instant. Why don't we have that? You know, this competition, these things that all these different companies are offering, you know, it's just going to make Twitch kind of come on the ball with some stuff even more. And these competition is good. It's going to work out for us as broadcasters, no matter where we are. So I think it's all
please
good.
don't misunderstand. You can, if you are partnered, you can stream on other platforms. You just cannot, at least under most of the contracts, you just cannot do it at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you could stream on Twitch for 2 hours and then log off and log right back on Facebook Live or something else and make content. There is a stipulation though that you need to wait 24 hours before you have a VOD in order to upload that content to another site.
Yeah.
I would want that access for 24 hours.
I would, if you are a partner though, really reach out to someone at Twitch before you do it. Because like two people, Kevin, K-Magic, he switched to Mixer and his account was just pretty much done. Like they just kind of deleted it on the Twitch end. So there is a terms of service thing. Who's
because he was a partner. Because they offered him a partnership immediately. That's why they did that.
Was it immediately? Oh.
Well, when he came over to Mixer, they basically made him a partner immediately.
Oh, okay. I know Darkness, when he went to Facebook, it was when he announced that, it was within minutes, his Twitch account was just gone. So just...
Well, I don't know. I couldn't speak for that, but
yeah, just before you do it, do some I don't know. I just don't want anything bad to happen. That's so scary. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that would like actually happen unless you breached your contract. But yeah I mean, you can't exclusively partner with Mixer, and I don't know how that would work. Maybe that's something that we should research, talk about next time.
Yeah. But all these different options are good though. Like in general for everybody, the fact that we can go on the internet and do what we do is just pretty awesome. And exposure on other platforms is going to be good for all of them, you know, because people are going to know about places to watch. It's all good.
Yeah, I love Twitch. I just wanted to point that out because some people might not know. And right now it's sort of an untapped market with a lot of potential.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Mixer is... Where could people find Mixer?
Guys, wear a wig and a costume, guys, and then you can stream on it.
Hi, I'm Lara6683.
I know Mixer is pretty much a Microsoft Xbox exclusive, and Facebook is obviously everywhere. So there are, you know, something to think about if you are just starting out. Like that initial just discoverability thing is very, very hard. So anything, like Doc said, if any one up you can get and test the waters. There's what's the service that allows you when you're not even affiliated or partnered where you can stream on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and you like all at the same time? What's that called?
Like a multicast or something like that.
Yeah.
But definitely do that if you're an affiliate or a partner, because that is against terms of service.
But if you're just starting out, do the feeler on all these different places and see where you get the most traction and maybe kind of go that route. I don't know. But all the options are good options, in my opinion.
All the options are good options.
But yeah, chat, thank you so much. Was there any other questions? My stomach's starting to growl. I haven't had breakfast yet.
There was one question that said, how does having a global schedule impact your social life? And I do want to say that when I was streaming, look, weekends are the best time to stream. So I thought I'll stream on Saturday nights because that's like a nice, comfortable Saturday lunchtime for EU. And then I realized, hang on, I'm getting like invitations to like go out on a Saturday night like normal human beings do. and I have to say no. So I thought, okay, come on, Lara, like you're a dork, but you don't need to be quite that much of a dork. Move that stream to Sunday night so you can still go out on Saturday night and try and be a human.
Yeah.
So I did that because sometimes with the global schedule, it really, it can muck it up a little bit. But I really like it though. That's the thing. I do really enjoy streaming. So I've got a really good schedule now that I'm happy with. But yeah, that is definitely a consideration with the time changes and all that.
Do you have any upcoming projects or anything that we'd like to know about?
I have some exciting news that I can't say anything about yet. No.
Well, when can we look out to hear from you about that?
Hopefully in the next couple months. And I can't say anything, but it's like super exciting. And I want to do several albums this year. I've hopefully got another one coming up with Taylor Davis. I love collaborating with her. The last 2 times I went over to Michigan, we did it in person together, but I think we'll do this one remotely. And then I want to like bring out my own video game album as well this year. So
wow,
as well as the news that I can't say anything about yet.
Everybody's going nuts in the chat. They are so tortured now. What's your favorite?
But do
you have a favorite video game song?
Favorite video? Oh, that's so hard. That's like picking your favorite child. But my favorite video game soundtrack is probably Secret of Mana, but Chrono Trigger is very good as well. I can't just pick a track. I need to pick a game. I think that's very tricky.
My friends used to make fun of me because I used to say Secret of Mana.
How do you say it? How do you say it?
Oh, no, Secret of Mana. That's what I say. Mana.
Mana?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mana.
But it's
Mana.
Yeah,
Secret of Mana.
Yeah, like, you're so wrong.
Chrono Trigger, Mario. Yeah, good one. No, you deserve to be made fun of for that.
Putting the wrong syllable on the wrong emphasis.
Emphasis.
The wrong syllable.
That's pretty funny, actually. I didn't see any other questions. I'm not sure if you guys saw some others.
I didn't see. I think, a lot of people in the chat said that actually anything we want to know, she answers on stream or she answers in Discord. No, I saw somebody say no pending questions. Like they all kind of seem like to say, hey, she shares a lot. She's, she's open. So
I do share a lot.
They're asking if they can hear some. I'm not sure if that'll sound great on the Discord sound, but we could maybe try.
Why don't I play my favorite video game song of all time? It's not. That's the joke. I hate this song. That's to Xanaken, and that's my most requested song, and it's like tedious. So
I think the Discord it mutes it a little bit. It's
okay.
It's all good.
That's all right. That's all right. We tried, but I'm super excited. I'm coming to TwitchCon, and I'm hoping to make a meetup with all of my flock and stuff. Like maybe we can go and invade an Outback Steakhouse or something like that. Yeah.
For those who've never seen you, can you tell us where we can find you on social medias?
Yes, I am Lara6683. Say Lara6683 3 times in front of a mirror, you will see. It's Lara6683 everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean YouTube and Twitch. And it's like something different on Twitter because someone stole my handles there. So I know. These damn imposters wanting to be. They couldn't have taken Lara6682, could they? They want Lara6683. But yeah, I'm Australian and I like to play a lot of video game music on my streams, and that's also what I do on YouTube. And I will be streaming again tomorrow, which is actually probably your today. So yeah, there's a schedule on my channel, and it converts the times to your time zone.
Yeah, that's handy. That is handy.
Yeah.
But thank you again for taking the time. It was quite an honor.
No worries. And thank you guys. I just want to say this has been a compromise for us because you guys got up early. I stayed up late, but we made it happen. So thank you guys also. And Steph, especially for getting up early after your nighttime stream.
I could not miss this. I could not miss the chance to talk to you. It's great. Thank you so much for sharing all of your insight and advice with everybody. I think that people are going to benefit from your perspective a lot.
Oh, I hope it didn't sound too sanctimonious or anything like that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Seriously, I think you kept it real and it was good.
Yeah.
I want to end by just doing a little bit of an Oscar speech, just saying thank you to anyone who has supported me. I certainly haven't done it alone because without a community, I don't have anything and I wouldn't be here. And it still blows my mind that people give up their lifetime, the time in their lives to watch my stream and hang out with me while I play video game music. So I just want to say I'm super, super grateful. I'm not going to forget where I started, and just a big fat thank you. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And really quick, chat, thank you again for hanging out. Coming up, yeah, we have. My schedule is pretty bonkers right now, but we have Seth Drums TV coming up on dates. Like they're not in order, but Protostar, he's a producer and a music streamer. He's got like one of his songs just got on Rocket League, and it's really good. Really curious to talk with him, a producer here on Twitch. And the Luck Music, we all know who they are. We're going to have them on very shortly too. They're on the books for I think the first week in June, but a lot of really great people coming up that I'm personally excited to talk to. There's so much talent that we have here. So it's going to be a good couple weeks, and thank you guys for listening, and apologies for the break in time. I had no internet. It would have went horrible, but thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys are the best. So yeah, we'll see you next week.